Hello there to all my followers of Dark and Shadow scavengers and villainy aficionados. Welcome, bienvenue. Here I am, a good old Lord of Shadows, doing one of my good old-fashioned movie reviews. And today I'm going to review Zootopia 2. Yep, I finally got a chance to see it 2 days ago, and here I am, guys, sharing my overall thoughts about it. Now, before I go to the overall review in general and everything, I think that the biggest question that a lot of people had in their minds ever since Zootopia 2 was announced, will it be worthy of the first movie? Like, will the sequel decline or will it hit all the notes just like the first movie did? So basically, will the sequel deliver? That's kind of like the overall idea. And let me tell you, at least from my perspective, they fucking delivered. Okay, like, this has to be one of the best Disney sequels I have seen like in the last decade. And I'm not joking, okay? Like, this is literally one of the best Disney sequels they have done in recent years. Like, it gave me everything I wanted from Zootopia 2, and even on some levels a little bit higher, should I say they gave me a little bit more than what the first movie did and everything, which of course, when you're trying to do a sequel, that's the usual traditional thing to do. But overall, I'm telling you guys, for anyone who hasn't seen this movie yet, you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. He had everything I was hoping we'll have. So without any further ado, let's just begin with this, shall we? So basically, to kind of give you a quick summary of Zootopia 2. So basically, it has been a week since Nick and Judy solved the case, with the whole predator conspiracy, against the evil Mayor Bellwether and everything, So it has been a week since, that case ended and everything, and then all of a sudden, a snake comes to town. And then all of a sudden, it starts this big reptile conspiracy that involves not just simply certain people, but it also involves the overall origin of Zootopia. And now Nick and Judy are on the case again to try to solve this mystery and basically put an end to all this reptile conspiracy. And that's basically it. That's kind of basically the overall summary of Zootopia 2. Now, I'm going to try to be as spoiler-free as possible. Because I really want you guys to experience this movie by itself, and for what I've seen right now, it is doing pretty good. I mean, $700 million dollars worldwide and everything in just a few days. Nice, very nice. So yep, no problem with that. Which kind of gives me an idea that the Zootopia 3 might actually happen, and with that credit scene, it might actually happen, but who knows? But anyway. Let's move one step at a time. Okay, so basically, I'll go first with this. So basically, the overall story, what I think about it. Because the thing is, when, not simply Disney, but everyone, when they do sequels, usually, like I said, sequels don't hit the same notes as the first movie did. Sometimes, you gotta say it's kind of like a traditional thing. But sometimes, you have sequels basically doing less good than the first movie, But sometimes, and that's, I would say it's a bit rare, but sometimes you also have sequels that actually deliver. Sequels who actually can be better than the first one. And I would say this, Zootopia 2, when it comes to story-wise, I would say it's actually a little bit better than the first one. Again, that's just me, all right? But overall, when it comes to the overall story, I was actually satisfied with it. Like, you had no plot holes. It was moving smoothly, sometimes even a little bit swiftly and everything. With with the overall introduction to the villains, to the new characters and everything. Like, everything basically was played in a very strategic, tactical way when it comes to story elements and everything. Like at least for me, I would say that in a positive way. Okay. And also, so overall story, when it comes to story-wise and everything, look, just like the first movie, Zootopia, it's again another crime-solving mystery type of story, okay? Like I said, in the first movie, we had the whole conspiracy with predators. Now, this time, we have a conspiracy that involves reptiles, but also at the same time, centering around the origin of Zootopia. And I will tell you this. Like, one of the most interesting thing that they actually didn't explore in Zootopia is the overall origin of the city. How Zootopia was created and everything. And I will tell you, I really love the element of how they explore the origin of Zootopia. Like basically not just simply how it was created, but also at the same time the founder, like who basically came up with everything. Like who is basically who was basically the genius behind like certain different parts of Zootopia. From like from like the snowy parts, the heat part, and all the rest, all the way to the like the center of the city itself and everything. Like the way how they explore that, I would say that was definitely one of my favorite parts in this movie when it comes to like story elements and everything. But also not to mention the conspiracy this time. I would say also again it hit the right notes for me. I was really interested in the whole reptile conspiracy, and the way how the writers have done this. For me personally, it hit all the high notes. So when but besides that, like all the parts of the story, like when it comes to, like I said, when it comes to serious moments, emotional moments, there are some even dark moments as well in Zootopia 2, which for me was like a bonus. Because I haven't seen like dark elements in a Disney movie like in a very long time. But so it was a big bonus to me. But anyway, like everything hit the right note. Oh my god, and not to mention the humor. Oh man, like I mean, I can talk about like the serious and emotional and dark moments all the time, but the humor, okay, the humor for me is like the greatest weapon this movie Zootopia 2 had. Okay, the humor for me is the heart of this movie. Like from the beginning to the very end, I was not giggling, I was not smiling, I was laughing hysterically, because there's like every single joke, every single funny moment, every single like it's like a funny dialogue or whatever, or even references. Like I was laughing hysterically. Like I was laughing so hard at the few times my jaw hurt actually. I mean, for real, no shit. So out of all the elements, I would say the humor is the strongest part of this movie. So in that part, like it really hit all the like on all the levels. Now, when it comes to the characters, I would say this: like one of the greatest elements of when it comes to characters in Zootopia 2 are definitely Nick and Judy. Like I really like, I love their overall character. Like I love their overall chemistry and relationship in the first movie. But in this movie, they added so much more layer to the characters, not simply individually, but as a group, like as a duo, as a team. And that's kind of like the best part that I think, like when it comes to Nick and Judy's characters, when they're basically working as a team, not simply showing, why they're agreeing on each other, but also at the same time, that both of them have flaws, and then there are some moments, in which basically, they're also a little bit different. One is different from the other and everything, and also the other is different from the other one. Like overall, the chemistry and the relationship between those two characters for me was again a big plus. Because like I said, they added more layer to them in this movie. Again, not just simply with them individually, but as a team in general. Now, of course, we have another like few old characters returning, like Chief Bogo, voiced by Idris Elba. We have the guy who was the guy who was crazy with the donuts. Also the big Mr. Big and his daughter. They're appearing also in the movie. Oh my god, like that scene with the Mr. Big and the daughter, also introducing their it's not a big spoiler because everyone has seen that already, but introducing the Mr. Big's like daughter, or should I say Mr. Big's granddaughter and everything. Like that entire scene was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. But I will say this: it centers around a certain ring. That's all I will say. It was hilarious. But there's a lot. But again, it was really great to see some old characters returning. I will say this: I was surprised to see Bellwether returning. I mean, again, not a big spoiler because because they already announced that Bellwether will return for Zootopia 2. So that's not a big spoiler. But I was also surprised that we also got some moments, with her and everything, which kind of remind me a little bit of Silence of the Lambs and everything. But it was cool to see her as well. However, of course, when you're doing sequels, you're gonna also have like new characters, and that's also one of my strongest points when it comes to Zootopia 2. Okay, the new characters, like we have so many different, like reptile characters, like for example Jesus, who was voiced by the brilliant Danny Trejo. We have like the female character who was like this kind of like a main podcast slash conspiracy type of character who's voiced by Fortune Feinster. I think her name was like Nibbler Maple Sticker, I think, or something. We have her. We have the new mayor, the horse, voiced by none of the one and only Patrick Warburton. Like this guy is a legend. I mean, I could go like and also not to mention Gary the Snake. One of the new characters coming in Zootopia 2, voiced by one of the voiced by also voiced by one of the guys from the Goonies, also short stuff from Indiana Jones 2 and everything. The reason I'm saying this is because I always have trouble pronouncing his name. But I will say this: out of all the new characters, even including like old ones, I mean, again, I will say Nick and Judy, there are great characters, but for me, the star of the show was the Snake, Gary the Snake. I love this character from the first ever introduction to like his overall reasons why he's in Zootopia. Also his relationship with Judy, his overall energy and positivity, and the overall goal, like why he's doing this and everything, which is basically for his family and all. Like every time with this character was on screen, I was like so invested in him, in the character. Like so for me, the star of the show was absolutely Gary the Snake. I really love this character, and I think he's a great addition to the basic overall Zootopia family. Also, I will say this: Shakira also returned as Gazelle, of course. But I will say this: they give her a lot more. I'll say this: her role became a little the importance of her role basically became a little bit how can I put this? Okay, let me put it this way. So basically, I will also admit that Gazelle, voiced by Shakira, like she also has a lot more things to do in Zootopia 2. That's all I will say. Okay, but they gave her. I would say they kind of expanded on her role in this movie. Which I will say no to that. I mean, sorry, I meant I will not say no to that. I really like what they did with her and everything. So yeah, and also okay, the villains. Okay, I'm really happy that finally, ever since Wish, okay, I was really happy that in Zootopia 2, at the very start, they give you immediately the answer of who are the villains, which are basically this cat-like business corrupt crime family called Lindsley. And I'm really happy. Like, you want to know who the bad guys are? Boom, there you go. Like right at the very beginning. Okay, but when a certain event happens for a certain MacGuffin, let's just put it that way, and when some things happen with this MacGuffin, they immediately reveal who are the villains, And I have to tell you, I really like them. I really like them, not just simply individually, like from like the oldest to the children, but like also like how grounded and realistic they were and everything. So overall, I really like the villains. Even though I will say this, there's even a twist and revelation when it comes to like the overall villains of the story, which I actually didn't mind, because usually I'm not gonna say what it is, but usually that's this type of like villain revelations. I usually, okay, I'll put it this way: I usually hate him, or should I say, I usually get annoyed with them. But the way how they did it here, I didn't mind at all. I didn't mind it at all. And yeah. So the villains, again, they're not generic. They're not like old. They're not like one dimensional or anything. So yeah, the villains, I would say they hit on the same level as Mayor Bellwether did in the first movie. So yeah, I don't have any complaints with the villains as well. Now with that being said, oh my god, this movie has so many crazy cameos. Okay, I will only spoil one. Okay, I will only spoil one. Bob Iger is in this. Bob Iger, and I didn't believe it, because when I heard the character that he was voicing him, I was like, shit, that voice kind of sounds familiar. So after when I watched the movie and everything, I tried to check the cast list, and I was like, it was him. It was Bob Iger. Oh my god, it's kind of cool to see him. They actually give him kind of like a small role in a movie like this. Like it was kind of cool to see it. But okay, but I'm telling you, he's only the tip of the iceberg. Okay, because there are so many cameos in this movie that, like, it's just simply bonkers. I will say this without spoiling anything: there is a certain character slash cameo in Zootopia 2 that hit me out of nowhere. Not just simply the type of character, but also the voice behind it. Yeah, I was like, I couldn't explain like my overall reaction, like, but like the way, but the character that this guy was voicing and everything, I was like, it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. And again, it's a camera that lasts only 2-3 seconds, but it was so cool. It was so cool and cute at the same time. Like, it was really great. But again, this typical character, when I mean, for everyone who has seen the movie already, I think you guys know which cameo I'm talking about. But for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, you'll know when you see the character cameo. Okay, you'll know. But yeah, I mean, like, I would say that's definitely my favorite like character cameo and everything. But there were other character cameos throughout Zootopia too that it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. So but like in a very, very positive way, very, very positive way. Now, with that being also said, this movie also is filled with so many references, just like in Zootopia, like the first movie. So many references, and not just simply connecting with Duke Weaselton, but also that there are other references in this movie that not simply connects with older like Disney movie, but also Pixar, especially a certain cameo that involves a certain rat. That's all I will say, okay? That cameo, and also to mention, like, from other movies, like certain moments, certain characters, like even jokes. Oh man, like it is filled with so many Easter eggs and references, which was absolutely great. Their type of references and Easter eggs, they're not like shoved down your throat. Okay, like they all have they all have their gravitas, they have their moment, and the timing for me personally was perfect. Oh man, it was great. Also, I mean, the soundtrack, also just like in the first movie, was great. And I will say this: the new Shakira song they did for this movie also is actually, I will say it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, okay, does it hit on the same level as Try Everything? Maybe not. Like, but it's very close. Okay, it's very close. But it's but again, I still love the song. I really did. And with that, like, also the animation. Oh man, I mean, of course, when you have a Disney, you can never go wrong with animation. Like, it's absolutely like almost 100% flawless. Okay, when it comes to like the animation and everything. So yeah, I mean, like, honestly, Zootopia 2, I actually don't have any negatives. I really don't. I mean, it's almost a perfect movie, not to mention an almost perfect sequel. So yeah, I don't have like, any like, complaints whatsoever. Also, I will say this: there's another character in the new character actually that was introduced in this movie is, of course, the new mayor, the horse, Brian Winddancer, of course, voiced by the legendary Croc, Patrick Warburton. Like, oh my god, the way he voiced the horse. Immediately when you hear the voice, you know who it is. You know already, and he fucking delivered. Like, his character was hilarious. Like this former movie star who becomes the mayor. Like, this character is hilarious, absolutely hilarious. Yeah, but so overall, I don't have anything like so nitpicky. No, actually, I don't have any complaints, and I don't even have any nitpicky thing to say about Zootopia 2. I really don't, because for me personally, I see Zootopia 2 as an almost perfect Disney anime movie and sequel. So the only thing the only thing I have to say, before I finish, is the overall rating. I'm giving Zootopia 2 and 9.5 out of 10. I know maybe some people will think I'm crazy, but that's like the rating for me. Okay, I'm telling you, this movie was almost perfect. It hit all the right notes when it comes to the characters, story wise, emotional moments, serious moments, dark moments, the humor. Most of all, the new characters were interesting. The villains were great. The overall twists and turns. Oh my god! Like there are so many twists and turns and revelations in this movie. And I'm not just simply talking about the villains or the origins of Zootopia, but there are a few others also, basically peppered all over the movie, and they all, for me personally, delivered. Absolutely. So overall, a 9.5 out of 10 when it comes to Zootopia 2. Really, I have no complaints whatsoever about this movie. Like, for me, it is still a almost perfect movie. And with that being said, guys, here I am done. Rate the video, comment, like, subscribe, personal thoughts and ideas. If you have seen Zootopia 2 already, what did you thought about this movie? What did you thought about Judy and Hobbs? What did you thought? What did you thought about Nick and Judy? Their overall relationship. What do you think about? What did you thought about the new characters, the story, the villains, everything about Zootopia 2? Just put in the comment section down below. And with that being said, see you guys soon. Stay tuned for more. And as always, Lord of Shadows signing off, or as I like to say, well, later, fuckers.